Moving forward once again, in this tutorial I'm talking about using workspaces. To be able to explain to you what workspaces are initially, let me first adapt the look of our user interface. As you can see at the moment, we are set up to the default editing workspace. Unless we change it, this is how it always looks. And that's one of the good things. You can adjust them so that they suit the way you work. For example, if we look at the top left of the screen at the moment, then you can see that my fourth panel tab along is my Metadata Tab. Now that's not something I use a lot, and probably less so now Adobe have brought out Prelude to run alongside Premiere Pro. So if I wanted to remove this Metadata tab, first of all having it selected, then you'll see the little cross there just next to it. Clicking on that removes it. It doesn't make it deleted completely. We could bring this back. As we can see, we are beginning to adapt our user interface. There is something else we can do apart from removing panels, and that is to resize the panels that we do want on our screen. So if I move my mouse over the division line here for the source monitor and the program monitor, you'll see my cursor change shape, and if I left click, then I can resize this. I'll drag it to the left, meaning my source monitor has been reduced in size. By the same token, my program monitor enlarges. Perhaps I want my source monitor and my program monitor to take up less real estate at the top of the screen. Well, I would grab a division line here, click and drag upwards. The more you do this, you are creating a workspace that works for you. Now perhaps down here in the bottom left with this info panel, maybe I don't want this one either. By selecting it and then clicking on the cross there to remove it from view allows me to further adapt my user interface. Once I get to this stage, but then I want to revert back to where we were right at the beginning, then I would have to go back to my original workspace. To do this, come up to Window, drop down to the first category there, Workspace, and fly out to the right. And there you'll see in the top section separate workspaces that have been set up as presets. Of course, all these workspaces are adaptable as well, but as you'll see, we've got an audio workspace, a color correction workspace, an editing workspace. We've also got effects and meta-logging workspaces. Now I'm not going to choose any of those just yet because I want you to see just below this division line that we've got 4 further categories to create either a new workspace, we could delete a workspace, or we're going to click on this option, Reset Current Workspace. Once clicked, then I'll see this warning message, are you sure you want to reset editing to its original layout? I'll click on yes. Once done, then our Metadata tab comes back because that's part of this default editing workspace. Also see down here that our Info tab with its related panel has also been reintroduced. Now just notice where our project panel is down here. If you want to revert back to a previous version of Premiere Pro, come back up to Window, drop down to Workspace and then across, and then choose Editing CS 5.5. And as you can see, this now brings our project panel to the top left, and our source monitor is shuffled along to the right, and indeed the whole of the user interface looks different to the CS6 user interface for editing. Personally, I prefer the CS6 version. Once more, I'll go up to Window, down to Workspace and across and down to Editing. There you'll see my project panel down at the bottom left. Let's have a look at some of the other preset workspaces. Let's go to Window, drop down to Workspace, and we'll choose Audio. Set like this, Adobe suggests that this could be a good workspace for when you are audio editing. And in the top left, we'll see audio effects are quickly accessible. That's not to say that we couldn't have accessed these if they were in a different position. It's just that they seem easier here when we are working on audio. To the right of the effects panel here, we'll see the audio mixer. And that would allow you to edit any audio, not only by listening to it, but visually as well in the source monitor. Clicking the audio mixer allows us to easily access our channel strips. Perhaps you've been out and you've been filming and the color of your footage is not quite right. Maybe it needs color correcting. Well, there is a workspace for this as well. Go up to Window, down to Workspace and across down to the second option, Color Correction. Now this might be a workspace that I use quite a number of times during this course. If I want to color correct, well, perhaps not accurate iPhone footage, well, just explore what these workspaces look like. Just go up to Window, Workspace and choose one of the other workspaces to suit the way that you like to work.